Hey guys, Django Fett here, Honey Down Games, Comics, TV shows, movies, and more, and this is a review for Star Wars Visions Volume 2. So this is the project I've been most looking forward to when it comes to Star Wars affiliated projects. This was the one I was most anticipating, not so much Mandalorian or any other movie project out there. This was the thing that I was looking forward to the most. To give talented animation studios the Star Wars license to create their own different short and their own space within Star Wars with these little animations. So, if you guys remember my Star Wars Volume 1 review, I'll put a link in the description down below. Definitely check that out. I enjoyed it. However, I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever. It wasn't on the level of Animatrix, which is just fucking phenomenal. Rated R, just goodness, and fit with the Matrix world in every way. Visions Volume 1 is definitely a step in the right direction in that regard, but it didn't go all out. Visions Volume 2, however, I feel like they went all out, and they went in the direction that I wanted them to do from the start, and now they're doing. So with Volume 1, it was mainly by studios from Japan, which was nothing wrong with it, because there's plenty of talented studios in Japan, animated studios, that can handle Star Wars. I mean, if you look at Volume 1, the great ones that did come out, did have some great ones like The Duel, which was my all-time favorite, the black and white, Seven Samurai style, The Ninth Jedi, The Elder wasn't too bad, Lop and Ocho, which I did rewatch. There was a lot of them I did rewatch and really enjoyed. There are a couple of bad ones that are just so forgettable, but there's a lot of really good ones that are definitely worth watching. The Ninth Jedi should definitely have its own another episode after that, like having continuation from that. Like, there's a couple on here, and even in Volume 2, that I think that they should do continuations of. Have another short from that same studio. I think that would be awesome. So Volume 1, I enjoyed the hell out of. Volume 2, I enjoyed even more, because it's not only by, one studio in Japan, which honestly ended up being the worst one, to be honest, but you had studios from all over the world contributing and putting their mark into Star Wars, and they did a tremendous job with it. From countries in India, United Kingdom, Ireland, Spain, Chile, France, South Africa, South Korea, and even the US as well, and they just did a tremendous job. So the episodes that really caught my eye and I thought that were just fantastic were, first off, the first episode, Sith. So this was my mistake when going into the show. I went from episodes 9 to 1 instead of 1 to 9, and I'll explain upon it in another episode or another live stream on why that's the case. Start with episode 1, called Sith, developed by El Guri Studios, based out of Spain, and in this one, it opens with E2 droid and just rolling through the corridors, and a woman is having nightmares. Her name is Lola, and she's having nightmares, and this animation, the way that they construct this is like a conflicted painter, just not able to control her painting style. But, she's a former Sith apprentice, which you find out, and she encounters her old master, and they fight it out, and this one really drew my eye quite a bit. I love the animation, and I thought this episode in particular, the way they marketed this episode on the trailers and stuff, I thought this was going to be like a very much the same original, nothing special, Dave Filoni-esque, animations that you've seen like a million times over. I'll discuss those in another episode, why I have my complaints with that. But for what they did with this is what I thought it would be, developed by Lucasfilm, but that's not the case at all. This is just so much better in every aspect. The next one is I Am Your Mother by Aardman Animations, based out of UK. Now, you've probably heard of that studio. Now, Aardman is pretty great because they've done greats like Chicken Run, Wallace and Gromit, and one that I find beloved, that's happening nowadays, is Shaun the Sheep. So they're known for their claymation, animated movies and such, TV shows. and they've done just a tremendous job for what they've done. And they are just an incredible and super talented studio, and to see them do Star Wars, I think, was just awesome, to give them the light. So they did an episode called I Am Your Mother, and it stars this little Twilight girl who is named Annie, and embarrassed by her sweet but clingy mom, but must team with her for a family race in the academy. So their relationship is tested, and their old ship and other racers and each other. This was just a fun, animated short that is really funny, and Aardman is known for their freaking humor. So if you know Aardman, you know they know how to make some really funny jokes, really funny comedic moments, and this one was just that too. So it was just as funny, and God, it was just really memorable. And I always love their animation. They're such a unique animation, and you don't see it nowadays just because of how time consuming it is to animate it all. But they always have to do the motions for every single figure, and their mouth movements, every little thing in the stop motion when it comes to their little claymation figures and stuff like that. So it's really time consuming. I know they did that with Pinocchio movie, the recent Pinocchio movie that came out directed by Guillermo del Toro. And that takes forever, man. So it takes a lot of dedication and work, and I don't know if they did it in this. I'm pretty sure they have. And with the technology nowadays, it makes things easier. I just don't know if they've still done it, and if they did, props to them. The next is Journey to the Dark Head, created by Studio Mirko, based out of South Korea. This was a really unique one. This one with a lot of action-packed, and it stars a mechanic and a young Jedi who is just wrought with anger because of what happened to his master, and they team up for a risky, unlikely quest to turn the tide of the Galactic War. But you have a Sith coming into the mix, and the Jedi and the Sith fight it out. This is a really cool, action-packed, mystical episode that I really want to see again, man. It was great. The animation was fantastic to look at, and a lot of great action, really memorable. I think out of all of them, I think this has the best animation. It's probably arguable between this and the Sith short film, but I think this is probably even better, to be honest. This is just so special to me. It's great. Next is The Spy Dancer, created by Studio La Cachette, based out of France. This one was a really unique one, and I think made by the same studio that helped with creation of, Gennady Tartakovsky's many works, like Samurai Jack, Primal, and things of that nature. Correction, it's just Primal. It's not anything else with Gennady Tartakovsky's works, but Primal is still a really fantastic, animated series. And they also did one episode of Love, Death, and Robots, which I haven't seen yet. But The Spy Dancer is starring a dancer at a famous Imperial cabaret using her unique skill set to spy for the rebellion. However, it's kind of ruined by a mysterious officer. And it's a really nice and touching story. Plenty of cool action. I really like the simplest. It's definitely not simple, but the way it appears is very simplistic art style. Even though it takes a lot of work, animation is not simple by any means. But the way it's presented, once I show some scenes right here, you'll know what I mean. It's just that compared to other animations out there, this is just as less detail, but it does show in the story the detail and aesthetic out there. But it does have plenty of action. It's a lot of you see in the circus and all these different acrobatics and stuff like that. You see this here, but it's not so much a circus, but it's like a special opera show-esque. I do wish the music was more profound and more out there, but I still think it was kind of quiet in a sense. But I think the motions of the dancers and stuff like that really brought it out. Next is Screecher's Reach by Cartoon Salon, studio based out of Ireland. And this one I wasn't really sure how they were gonna do this, but it stars a young girl seeking reprieve from her days in a rural workhouse, discovers a legendary haunted cave with her friends, and the cave's dark pull will change the trajectory of her life forever. So this was a really unique one too with the storytelling, because I thought at first, just looking at it, just seeing how this was going, it was getting towards the end that it just became something special. The storytelling was fantastic. It took me for a ride. In the end, it became this really crazy twist that just left me like, oh my god, this is fantastic now. Because before, when viewing it, I was like, why is she doing this? I thought this was kind of stupid. Why doesn't she just get out of that situation? But once you watch this and you see it till the end, you'll know what I mean. You'll be like, whoa, holy shit. Your mind is going to be blown by it. And the art style isn't too bad either. I just really like the storytelling. That was the most that came out of this. That it just blew me away in that regard. And next is In the Stars by Punk Robot, based out of Chile. And this one has a really cool, unique art style. Two sisters who want to live their lives in hiding on their ravaged lands, squabble about how to survive with the Empire encroaching. One wants to fight, one doesn't. They just want to get water. One of them just wants to get water from the Imperial facility and then just come back. But the other one wants to fight because, that's what their mother did in their last moments. And you do see, like, the claymation art style, stop motion that you've seen in probably, like, Kubo and stuff like that. And then you see in the past, you see this really cool cave mural, animation style that was really cool to see. So you had two distinct animations happening in this really unique animation, and just them conquering their demons against the Empire and themselves, and trying to find peace within oneself. And it was just a really cool, unique animated short. So I really enjoyed this as well. And those were really the ones that were really good to me. There was one by an Indian studio, but that was the most Dave Filoni-esque episode. And then there was the worst one by far is by Lucasfilm, the US-based one, and it also has a collaboration with a Japanese studio. It's called The Pit. That short was awful. I have to be honest. It was completely forgettable, and it was a complete waste of time. It was easily the worst one of the bunch, and I don't know what the F they were thinking with that. And it just goes to show you, like, Lucasfilm, I guess, is just, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing at this point, but these other studios from all around the world, they're doing a tremendous job. So Lucasfilm, give them the Star Wars IP and let them go ham with it, because they can do some cool and unique things and respect the property at the end of the day, unlike yourself. There was also another one that really I wasn't a big fan of, just the way the frame rate was going with Owl's Song. It's a studio based out of South Africa. I see where they were going with it, but I wasn't really a fan of it either. So that's really only 2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes that really weren't really special to me, but everything else I really enjoyed the hell out of, and I think it was great. This is what I wanted from the beginning with Star Wars Visions. So I'm going to give Star Wars Visions Volume 2 a... I loved it, man. I thought it was great. And I can't wait to talk about this more with my friend General CJG on his channel. Talk about this a little bit more in detail with spoilers and such. But I loved it, man. I thought it was great. Really unique. The way they presented everything with all these different animated shorts. And I can't wait to see, how they do with Volume 3. Maybe a year or 2 down the line. Giving it to different studios. Hopefully Studio Ghibli down the road, and not that stupid Grogu short, which was only like 2 fucking minutes. I mean, like, it was a complete joke and a waste of time. even for 2 minutes. I was just like, if you've seen it, you know what I mean. Fuck that short. Let Studio Ghibli have like 15, 30 minutes to create an awesome animated short. And I'm telling you, it would be awesome. So that was my review for Star Wars Visions Volume 2. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Tell me what you think of Star Wars Visions Volume 2 just in general. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know in the comment section. And please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.